Hey guys, so we've got here Justin, Gavin, Luke, Tim, and Michael. And we're going to talk today about, what's changed in the software, what's new in the software over the last few years, because we're creating this video for customers of ours who haven't maintained software support, so therefore they may not have the most recent versions of the software. So we want to kind of tease you and give you a sampler of what's changed. We're going to start with Tim, first of all. So Tim, you're going to talk with us about Stock Manager.
Yeah. So look, I get I guess one of the most exciting ones as far as I'm concerned. Stock Manager is a whole new facility. It's really good for doing any sort of bulk changes on products in the system. So in previous years, we might have said, hey, export data and try and do that in Excel, but that becomes really messy. So Stock Manager is brilliant for doing any sort of bulk changes. But look, rather than talk about it, I'll share my screen and I'll give a quick run through on it. There we go. Should be able to see my screen there. Yep. So on your main screen here, and look, this is all updated as well, but I'll leave that for someone else to run through. I can just jump into stock and I can go into Stock Manager. And from within this screen, you can do a heap of bulk edits. So you can populate this screen with whatever you like. Now, it doesn't have to be department, category, or supplier based. It can just be keyword based that you populate this screen. You can then customize all of the different columns you look at across the top. So you can chop and change what data you want to review. And then when it comes to editing it, I can simply hit my edit option there and I can bulk change anything on these products, anything from cost prices, sell prices. If I hit edit on this, I can jump in. I can also do pricing updates based on a percentage or based on a margin of the cost price. It's really flexible how you can manipulate pricing, and same goes with things like descriptions. I can do add or replace commands on this. So where I've got garden center data, where I've got Fothergills here, and then I've spelt it slightly different further down below, I could do a bulk change on those to update them all to have the same correct spelling on those products. And I'm doing all of that from directly within the software. From there, I can also do things like send this list to different places. So if I did want to get a report on how these products have sold, I can jump in and run that. There's also a new feature in here, sales by month. I could toggle that instantly from here as well and see what months I sell these various products in. If I wanted to stock take them, print labels, even do a reorder on these items, I can really easily do that from this screen.
So Tim, if I can just jump in here, how long ago do you think Stock Manager was released? Because this is a pretty powerful tool.
Oh, look, time flies for me these days. I feel like it's about 2 years, but I know it's going to be longer than that.
And I know we've had customers who said that with Stock Manager, they can do now in minutes what previously they would have taken hours to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, things like a newsagent where they deal with tobacco products, it's great for doing bulk price changes. Garden centers that want to analyze data, really easy.
Yeah, we've had customers across all sorts of marketplaces who just love Stock Manager and what they're able to do with it.
Yeah.
And you were going to talk, I think, also about customer accounts as well.
Yeah, I was. Look, so
pretty boring topic. Why'd you choose that?
Look, it's one that there's been some. While it is a little bit boring, there's some cool stuff in the background on that one. Just in the sense of if I jump back in here and I go into my customer screen, this has all been changed. One thing, I hear a lot more from customers that come to us from other systems because I look after that process. But one thing they love is this option here where you can see all of the invoices, quotes, payments, all of the transactions for that customer. If I want to send this particular customer a copy of any of that history, I can just hit print email transactions, flag which ones I want to send, and hit email, and that's going to send them all through to them straight away.
Wow.
I've also got some cool changes in here. I've got a notes section here as well. So I can come in here, I can put notes against a customer. There's now a toggle there where you can say, show that at point of sale against that customer. And the guys have done some really cool changes around how that particular customer's account works. So you've got options here to disable receipt printing for that customer. So if they just want emailed copies of those invoices, you can set that. Or if they don't want it emailed, they just want printed, I could toggle that to suit. And even options where you can, flag what type of aging that customer account has, be it 7:30 end of month or end of the following month for their account. It's it's really flexible.
And you mentioned some of these changes are interesting from your point of view because of people you talk with who are using other software. I guess you're talking there about, for example, My Old Retail Manager and products like that.
Yeah, correct.
Coming from something and they want to be able to use some of those facilities in our software.
Exactly. Like they're probably like the retail manager conversion is, I would say, a good 75% of the customers that I'm talking to, and yeah, they love some of these facilities.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's jump away from you, Tim, and let's maybe go and have a look at, Justin, what are the things that you would like to highlight?
Yeah, so I was going to talk about our events facility within the software. So really handy tool for basically a couple of things. So first of all, if you want to reach out to customers based on, what might be a reoccurring purchase for them. So typically in a pet store, maybe you've got your worming date, so you can set your frequency to say, all right, this customer needs their worming tablets every, say, 3 months. So you can basically set up a list within the software. So each time you go into it, it will work out what customers are due for their worming tablets and basically set out a reminder via email or text message to say, hey, whoever the dog's name is, Huey's due for his worming. Here's 5% off, come in today and pick some up. I'll share my screen though and tell you what I'm sort of talking about. You can see my screen in here.
Yep.
So yeah, as I said, a couple of reasons to use this facility. Obviously, the worming tablet example, which I obviously spoke about, really easy to add a list here. So basically going off the back of Tim and what he was talking about in regards to the stock manager tool, basically uses that tool to be able to basically create a list really quickly. So I can type in, flea or worming. I'll just type in flea here. That's going to search everything with the word flea in it. And then basically from there, I can create a list. And that way, as I said, whenever any customer purchases anything in that list, it's going to send a reminder out. Another way to use it is for our workshop customers. So, bike stores that do a lot of servicing and repairs. Basically, what you can do is you can create a reminder in here. So, if this bike is due for its service, say in 6 months' time, you can send an email or SMS out there. And the email and SMS can be customized depending on, so it's a blanket SMS or email, but it'll actually use the identity and the customer name as well. So it's a really personalized message, and you can customize it using these toggles here as well.
So Justin, in terms of the event stuff that you're talking about, you mentioned pet shops, but how many different of the marketplaces we specialize in, I would imagine this could have an application in almost all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, it works for obviously reoccurring purchases. So, pet, even as simple as, pretty much any business that want to reach out, based on, customer birthdays or pet birthdays. So, every month you can run it. Any birthday coming up, you can offer them a further discount on, specific departments. With a pet birthday, it might be here's 5% off, pet toys. Obviously do that. So, yeah, look,
even servicing requirements of equipment that's been purchased or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, multiple ways to do it. We're seeing it, in a lot of different businesses and industries proving really popular. I mean, this day and age, really important to sort of reach out and try and bring customers back in sooner because it's really hard to, get customers repeating doing, purchases. So, yeah, really handy tool to reach back out based on, specific criteria.
Excellent. All right. Did you want to add anything else about events?
No, that's pretty much it, I think.
Cool. All right. If you stop sharing your screen, and Justin, not Justin, Gavin, we're going to come across to you now and talk about integrations. Mm-hmm. And before we do that, though, your title is COO. That's a pretty sort of lofty title. What does that mean for people?
What does that mean for people?
I don't mean for the people you lord over. What does it mean for customers? How do they get to you?
Look, my number's pretty much published anywhere. So if customers want to get to me, my number's available on the website. They can pretty much call me at any time. Also part of the escalation stream as well. So if any customers have got issues or problems, then it'll go through to the customer service manager and then come through to me as the second point as well.
And look, I guess the key thing I was trying to get to was all of the operational side of the business reports through you. So help desk reports through you, development reports through you. So you bring to the software perspective that broader view.
That's right.
Operationally of what the software does. So let's talk about integrations.
Yeah. So pretty much the main thing we seem to be doing at the moment is integrations with different platforms, whether they be e-commerce platforms or with supplier-driven platforms. Just in the last week, we've completed integration with Track Bicycles, sending our inventory through to a US-based company called Locally. So they're collating that information and providing that data through to Track. So as part of that as well, we have the integration now with Locally. So we'll be able to supply inventory data directly to them. Similar integrations that we've done along those lines with Specialized, we've done integration with them, and also with Just for Pets as well, where they've got a centralized website for Just for Pets members. We've also just recently finished our Shopify, Magento, and Woo links. So we've rewritten those, and we've primarily done that so we can provide added functionality. For instance, we've added in tags for products, and we've also added in the ability for you to enter the weight into retail and have that weight transferred through to your platform. So that's proving to be really popular. We've got probably a few hundred customers that have switched over to that link now, and if you want instructions on that, that's available on our website. Other industry-specific ones that we've completed in the last year is a link with Evergreen Connect, and that is ordering and electronic invoicing for nursery plants. We've also reworked our integration with Title Page as well from a book perspective. So you can pretty much enter in any ISBN. If you link with Title Page, you have to download that product, its image, number of pages, whether it's hardcover or soft cover, and a whole raft of info as well. From accounting perspective, we are linking with Xero directly. We also link with MyOb through a third party as well. And from point of sale payment wise, so we link with Hum and Zip from a buy now, pay later perspective. And if you want information on that, it's available on the website as well. Afterpay, if a lot of you don't know, that's integration is no longer available through any party because they're now doing that through their Afterpay card. So you've got the ability to do that as well. And we've also done in the last year an integration with Tabcorp as well. So if you sell lotteries products, you have the ability to have a ticket printout that you can scan, or you can pick from a list, which will download the transaction from the Lotto terminal into your register. So that's just an overshot of ones we've completed, probably with the exception of the accounting ones, that's in the last sort of 12 to 18 months. So it's been a busy, busy time.
And so we also have, we've got the direct Tyro link, and then for the other banks, we've got the Linkly link as well.
Yep.
But there are aren't there some other kind of smaller card type platforms that we work with too?
Yeah, so we work with, they've just changed names recently. It's MX51.
Yeah.
But they're sort of like a back end, a bit like Linkly for Westpac, and they're sort of adding in different payment integrators all the time. So that's another payment integrator. We also link with DPS for payments as well. So we link with a lot of different payment companies, and we get approached all the time for additional ones for those as well.
Yeah, and the process we go through is pretty stock standard. So we even work with customers who come to us with unusual linkages, and we can certainly make those work.
Yeah, so the Track one was interesting, that we actually didn't have to write any code. That's using inbuilt facilities inside the software that we've we've honed over a number of years for a number of different links with people, and we've got the ability to turn that on and provide the link through to the Trek people. And we did that without writing any code at all. So that was quite an achievement. We're quite happy with that.
Yeah, it certainly makes it easier and it gives it a lot more stability, if you like, for the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
in terms of doing it. All right, so let's move on and let's go to Michael now. And Michael, you want to talk a little bit about Variance?
Yeah, I do. So Variance is a key part of the software that helps link retailer to a website. It allows you to join items, like a retailer talks to a website so you can sell stock on there. And instead of having all different varieties of like a very similar item, say a t-shirt, for example, you don't want to have a small red, a yellow, a small white, and then a repeat of that in all the different sizes, taking up a large space, because that's not how people shop for shirts. They want to look at a design and go, all right, I like that one. And if I click on it, I want to then see all my other options. So Variance is a feature that we developed in the last 2-3 years that's been really helpful in building retailer to be able to do that and feed the data through your website in a nice, easy manner. So I've set up this t-shirt product here. It's called a Frankie t-shirt. And then we've got the variant detail here saying this is the small and the black variety. And what I've done is I've gone through and applied the variant functions to that, which we've got size and color. So you can have different sizes, different colors linked to this one product because every size and color has its own barcode. If we then go to stock variants, we can see all of the other ones that are grouped together. So this links all of the products together. They're still separate inside retailer, but linked in the back end. And then when they feed through to your website, they all join together into one product rather than taking up massive amounts of space on your website, heaps of that page space. One product, nice, clean, tidy, and the customer, when they click on it, they can see very straight away what colors are available. They can see what sizes are available in that one as well. So yeah, it's just a great way of really tidying up and getting a really cool other product out of retailer, the data out of retailer, so, really feeding through and tidying that up. So
Michael, let me ask you a question about that. So, if you're, you're part of the installation and training team, if you're dealing with a business where they've not really tracked color, size or style for products previously, how hard is it for them to actually set their business up to deal with that?
Quite easy. So if all of my t-shirts were sold under just a sorted t-shirt, $14.99, and they just happen to be barcoded from my supplier, if I grabbed a new one right now and I typed in the barcode, so let's say I typed in the barcode on this item here, so I can add another one to the group. So I've got the extra larges now. So if my barcode was 93, something like that, scanned it, system says, okay, well, I must be adding this item. And it then asks me for the size. So we're going to go extra large. And this happens to be a black as well. Done.
Right. Okay. And so once I go through that process of setting it up, it's then easy to manage the stock and have that all flow through to my own store.
Yeah, like there's some basic things that you have to do if you want it. Like this is primarily to help you with a website. So you've got to have some very basic things down pat, such as inventory management. So receiving your stock in the software, making sure that your sales are done properly. We don't want to sell stuff as miscellaneous because it's not tracked properly. So learning to track your stock and your inventory accurately is very important for websites. And it's one of the things that, to get the most out of your software, we want to see people do. So yeah, good data management gives you good data in the beautiful long run.
Excellent. All right. And Michael, you were going to talk about email as well.
Yeah. So one of the features that was written last year, redone from scratch, was one of the email functionalities out of the software. The old versions of Retailer don't give the customer any copy of the email that was sent out of Retailer, bar the saved PDFs. The new version of Retailer, when you email out of Retailer now, it leaves copies behind in your sandbox, because it used to go through a spam server to leave and go to your customers in the first place. Now it goes through your server and leaves copies in your sandbox, and it's gone from you rather than through our third-party provider. So it's a nice, tidy thing, lets you be more transparent. You can see what's going on, whether it's going or not.
And you can also set up templates now and change your own wording as well, can't you, Michael?
Absolutely. So all the any POS receipts that leave the system, whether it's a cash sale or an account transaction or an account payment, or a credit or even a lay-by, you can actually change all of the words on that per transaction type. Customer statements, you've always been able to change the wording on those. Not many people do. Sometimes they have it very blank, but you can fully customize it so it looks really professional.
And you've also got the ability, if you've got, say, a hazardous goods sheet that needs to go with a sale of a particular product, you can upload that to the product and that'll get emailed as well, won't it?
Absolutely. I think that is under extra detail. It is. Here we go. So under, this is the stock screen, of course. So we're looking at my Frankie t-shirt here. Under extra details, if this was a chemical or something like that, where some rural supply businesses need to send or provide a notice with this chemical, they can add the data sheet to it. So if we go add, I can then add a PDF document anywhere on here. So if I just add the change of ownership form, for example, whenever I sell that and it emails out the receipt to the customer, it'll automatically include a copy of this, meaning that you as the business are providing your customers with the correct notice regarding the products that they're buying that you're legally potentially required to give.
And there could be specs and stuff.
That's going to work with garden centres, fishing and outdoor businesses, produce farm supply businesses, firearms dealers, even jewelers and bike shops. All different sorts of specialty retail are going to benefit from that sort of thing.
Yeah, it could be warranty documentation. It could be any form of paperwork that you want to give them. You can even make up your own documents if you want to give them, just have something go to their email when they buy a certain product, you know.
Instructions.
Don't forget, instructions how to build it, bring it back within so many months to get a free something off of it. It could be anything like that, but you can use events for that as well.
A good example could be, for example, a fishing business that has a list of local fishing areas, or a garden centre that has information about the treatment of handling of plants, very specific.
In their growing, in their life. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or in their life, like saying this plant really wants a little bit of this fertilizer within this period at this growth rate, sort of thing. That sort of detail can also be printed on receipts. You could type the information here into the extended description, and with a tick box in your system, it then prints that data on your receipts, and the customers see it literally printed out if they take a printed receipt home as well.
Excellent. All right, let's get you out of that screen. Now, Luke, we're going to come to you. And Luke, you've kind of got the, probably you could argue sort of some of the more geeky stuff. You want to talk about auto build. Now, what the heck is auto build? I mean, did you come up with the name for that to try and confuse people? Are you building a car or what is it?
Like a transformer?
No. So what it is it's to do with our manufactured goods facility. So a lot of customers previously in the past may have had a manufactured goods component in retailer. And what it means is to take different items within your store and to build another item. So for example, you might have, if you're a jewelry store, you might have a setting and a diamond, and you want to sell it as a diamond ring. It's to take these two items out of your stock and to make a diamond ring. Now, conventionally, previously, we had to tell the system, okay, these are the two components, and tell it that we're making the item today. We've diversified on that a lot more now, and basically, we've got it where the system can automatically adjust the individual components as they're sold. So this is primarily good in things like a produce area where you might be having certain seeds and things like that you buy in like a 20 kilo bag, but sell them as a 5 kilo bag and a 1 kilo bag and things like that. The system can actually automatically alter your quantity on hands for your 20 kilo bags as they're sold. So previously you had to go into the system and say, I'm making up 31 kilo bags, but that's all automated now at the end of the transaction.
And so how recently was that released?
So that was only released recently this year. I think it was only, I'd say about 2 months ago. It was in one of our more recent updates.
Yep. And so what we want to do is give people a view now into something that we're about to release.
Yep.
That I know you and the folks who work with you in our development team have been working on for a while, which is these new dispatch facilities. Now, this is some crazy ass big stuff that you've been working on, because you're really trying to satisfy a broad set of needs across various retail type businesses?
Yeah, so it has been identified previously that a lot of our businesses are starting to do their own deliveries from in-house. And there's been a bit of a void between what happens in the computer system and what happens at the delivery side of things, and trying to keep track of that. Now, previously, from my own experience being on site, garden stores would print out an invoice and they'd put it on a clipboard, they'd invoice on a clipboard for Thursday. The problem is the staff members may put too many invoices on Thursday, or someone might go to put something on and an invoice drops off and a delivery can get missed. So we've tried to put some tracking into the system, or scheduling for those resources to prevent those sorts of things happening. What I might do is I'll jump in and give you a sneak peek at how it sort of looks and works. So you can see my screen there?
Yep.
Rightio. So there's several ways this can actually work. You can do it from the point of sale, or you can do it from quote and invoice management. There's several ways that we can go through this dispatch management side of things. But basically what you can actually do is you can queue up your items in your quote. In our delivery details, you'll fill out the customer's address of where they're going to be delivered to. You've still got the facility for putting notes in, drop it on the driveway and things like that. We've now got this new scheduled delivery.
Wow.
So basically in here, you can actually now see your different delivery, and you can drop it on different days. So if you want to sort of, you can actually change the different views for different days of the week, or 30 days. You can actually click and drag it to different resources, different days. So if you've got, for example, multiple vehicles, you can have those as your resources. And then you've got, for example, the time of the day that you may want to deliver those particular items. We have also got the facility to actually, because one of the things that was identified early on is that you might have, for example, 10 different items on that invoice or quote, and you're only delivering one item out of them. So we actually have given sites the ability to actually select those individual items that need to be delivered. And there's a separate report or run sheet that will actually come along for the delivery driver for truck number 1 on November the 11th. And that'll show all the deliveries on that driver's delivery for that particular day. So yeah, so it's some pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, it's one of those things that should tidy up for some of our existing users.
Excellent. So if you stop sharing your screen, I want to ask you a couple of questions. Not so much about that, but so thinking about that process that you go through when you're looking at changes. I know we have on our website a software ideas facility where people can, our existing customers can suggest ideas, and then you go through and check to see if they're technically capable or technically possible. And then my understanding is you look at how many people vote for something.
Yeah, that's correct. Because what you may think is really good in your business may not be helpful across a broad range of users. So we've got to actually sort of have a look and see, okay, is this going to benefit our large user base with the small amount of time and development that we've got to actually deal with?
Yeah.
So that's why we primarily, the more people that vote on things gives us a bit of indication that that's the direction we should be looking at.
Look, we're pretty proud of Software Ideas because it's a very transparent process. With 3,000 customers, it's really helpful for other customers to see how things are being voted on and lifted up and therefore put in front of you so that you're considering putting them in the software. So just coming back to the rest of the guys who are here in this session, having seen what other people have talked about, is there anything else that any of you would like to suggest to existing customers or prospective customers? Hey, here's what's new in the software, and have a think about it.
Look, I mean, I'll jump in. I would say there's a heap of stuff. Like we've really only kind of scratched the surface. Like there's also the new screens, like being able to customize that main dashboard. The point of sales had a real massive facelift recently. Reports run quicker. There's a lot of big changes in there.
And Tim, on that, in terms of reports running quicker, we've got some reports that are running 4, 5, 6 times faster. Like, really becoming quite instant in terms of reporting tools, which is pretty exciting. Does anybody want to jump in with anything else at all?
The one I'd mention would be the order by sales improvement. So you've got the ability to see on a month-by-month breakdown in order by sales exactly what's been sold each month. So when you're looking at order by sales, you can go, oh, that's perhaps a trend there that's increasing month on month on month. I might need to increase my order rather than just traditional ordering based on what's sold. Because that, if you're heading into a warmer month, your cool drinks and so forth are probably going to go up. So it's just helpful to see, okay, what was that like last year versus this year as well. So it's easier to spot trends and habits.
Yeah, really, really handy for our seasonal businesses and forecasting as well.
All right. Does anybody want to jump in?
Yeah, I'll say, take advantage of all of the different integrations that we do. Use each one to save time, whether it be accounting software integrations or web store. If you want to make money while you sleep, for example, having a website built is one of the greatest things you can do. Take advantage of everything we can do.
So if this video is being watched by people who have our software today, but they have an old version of the software, can they convert their data to get with the latest version?
Absolutely.
And is that a painful process or an easy process?
It's pretty easy. The only things that might be a pain with it might be old hardware as well. So making sure that you've got the right hardware to run our software is important. But yeah, generally most good computers that were out of date 5 years ago should still be okay.
Okay. And the other thing is, if somebody isn't using our software today, this is really a question for anybody in the room. They're not using our software today. They like the look of some of these facilities. Can they bring their data from their old software to our software?
Absolutely. That's been stock, customers, suppliers.
I was going to say, I'll expand on it slightly. Look, we generally bring across the customer information, so names, addresses, and phone numbers, and the product information. So, descriptions, barcodes, pricing, we manage that process through the actual initial onboarding. So we'll review the data and help the customer work out, whether that's a good move or if we should start playing.
Excellent. Luke, because we're talking about software updates and how much software has changed, we're going to come back to you kind of to round this out. We currently release sort of probably around 3 significant updates a year. And those updates, before they go out, go through a pretty rigorous testing process, both internally and externally through our beta release program.
Yeah, that's correct. So we test it in-house and then we send it to our own stores. And then there's a select group of customers that have opted in to be part of the beta program to get the new tools early. So there's a lot of things that get tested before it goes into final or public release. So we try to knock any sort of issues on the head well beforehand.
Yeah. And the thing about that is, we're fallible, we can make mistakes. And so if we have released a version and there's a known problem with that, we'll take that away from release pretty quickly, won't we?
Oh yeah, 100%. We don't. The last thing that we want to do is put pressure on the businesses if it's going to cause catastrophic issues for the businesses. So we're going to pull that early and just leave a stable release up. But thankfully, we haven't had to do that for quite a while. So, and hopefully that stays like that.
All right. Before we say goodbye, does anybody want to add any final words?
I'd just say, one thing I'd like to say is that if you're running an old version, basically there's been a lot of changes and there's a lot of changes upcoming in the future. And if you're not a current customer, well, is your current software provider providing these updates? Like, I just know how much work I've got, and if you're not seeing the updates, I'd definitely be questioning what they're doing with their support fees and things like that.
I'd finish up by saying that one of the reasons we created this video is to demonstrate another example of transparency. Here we are, we all work for this same company, and we're all focused on this mission of being able to deliver to local independent small business retailers, locally developed, locally supported POS software that's very specific to a series of retail channels. And you know, we're not using paid actors. We're putting our own ugly mugs on this thing. And, you know, I think it speaks to authenticity, and it speaks to our commitment to being real and in the moment with our customers and transparent with them. So hopefully the video has been useful. Thanks, guys, for joining in, and have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too.
Thanks.
Take